Time to go live, everyone. Not something I do all that often, but it's time we discuss a few things here, so I'm going to do it live today. Waiting for a few people to get into the room before I start talking here. Beautiful day here near Phoenix, 84 degrees. It's supposed to be 110 next week, so I guess I better enjoy the 84 degrees. Brian, first one in the room. What's happening, Brian? That was cool that they did that show on the WWE. Yeah, I kind of agree with you that the wrestler was talking about the simulation, kind of saying that, that's what's going on. Like he knew. But, hey, the word's getting out. Mandela Effect is growing. It's just going to continue doing so. So, I believe that was good exposure. I wish these comments would stay up here. Hi, my life. How are you doing? Welcome, Bill. So, I wanted to talk about a few different things. I've been busy working on my presentation for the International Mandela Effect Conference, which will be June 20th through the 26th. It'll be live for those. One day it's not, I think Father's Day, but it'll be running for 6 days and it'll be completely free, streamed online. So I'll put a link down below to the International Mandela Effect Conference. I did an interview with Chris Sinatra, which went really well. So that should be coming out soon as a kind of promotion, get to know me type thing for the conference. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turned out. Hi, Jamie. Ceiling Fan Man, how's it going? Welcome. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that interview turned out. I have something that's kind of been happening, and I was talking to someone in the backstage lounge of the Rip and Rabbit Hole about it, and I kind of wanted to throw that out and see what other people thought, if they're experiencing it. I guess I'll put it this way. So, you know how you have your body and your desires, like you're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, and so on and so on. And then you have your mind interaction with your body. And your mind will say, well, if you drink too much, and maybe you have to get up in the night and relieve yourself, or, if you go to sleep now. And so you're thinking, you're constantly thinking, you always have these thoughts going on. So we have this interaction with our mind and body constantly. But recently, it's probably been maybe in the last few years, but it's the past month, there's something happening. I'm curious, please comment down below. I'm curious if it's happening with you. I'll try to see if you're commenting on here. It keeps disappearing, so it's kind of a pain. I've been connecting, or I've been experiencing this other level of myself. It's the observer that is observing the mind and the body conversation. So it's really kind of a difficult thing to explain, but because I'm not fully connecting with it, but I can sense another, like my higher self, but I can sense it watching the conversation between my mind and my body type thing. Is anyone else experiencing that? It's just like a real faint sense of, I don't know, it's kind of, I guess we got some rap music we get to have during the live show here. So anyway, I've been connecting with that more, and it's really interesting. I'm just try to be tuning into it. I don't really remember, you can be someone who thinks about things, and you're cautious about you're always thinking, but I'm not talking about thinking, I'm talking about the observation of the thinking with the mind. So just kind of a different thing I've been experiencing a lot more recently. It's your higher self stepping into your physical body more, says John. Yeah, John, that's sort of what it feels like. And for whatever reason, maybe it's my time. Like with the Mandela Effect, I believe that it's an individual thing. We're all at different levels. And so some of us are experiencing more than others. Some are just kind of touching on the different changes that a lot of others are seeing. I totally believe it's a individual thing. Some people, they can't really see anything. And I believe it has to do with frequency and vibration, and they're not attuning to what a lot of us are attuning to. For whatever reason, we're all different levels of our spiritual awakening. And to me, this is all having to do with spiritual awakening. And that's kind of what my presentation is going to be about. It's my journey with the Mandela Effect, but it starts kind of around 2001 with 9/11. That's when I sort of started opening my eyes to the reality that I existed in, because things all of a sudden didn't seem right. And so we've all been at different levels of this. So I'm curious if anyone else is kind of connecting, if you want to say higher self, if you're connecting with that more now. I do these videos every once in a while where I talk about, something that's happening to me. Like I was experiencing, I remember last summer I went live and I was talking about familiar strangers. I was having that happen last year where I'd be somewhere and I'd see someone, I know that person. And then like within 10, 20 seconds, I see another person. I know them too. But these are total strangers. I mean, especially if that was to happen here near Phoenix. And, I just moved here. But that was happening to me. And so I was wondering if other people were having that familiar stranger thing happening to them. But now it's kind of the higher level connection. That's kind of, I don't know. It's not really connect. It's just experiencing the observer. I've thought about the concept of the observer before, and I've kind of touched on it, but there's just a bigger link right now. I'll just leave it there. So I also wanted to talk about a podcast that I listened to today by Brian Haggerty. I met Brian because he tried to debunk the Mandela Effect about 3.5 years ago. And at that time, I was extremely critical of anyone who was trying to debunk this incredible phenomenon that a lot of us were experiencing. And, I didn't call names or anything. I was respectful, but I was just saying, you haven't looked into this enough. And Brian is an author, professional speaker, and a mentor. Has a real great radio type voice. He's doing a new podcast now. I'll link his podcast down below. He's only got 500 subs on his channel. He talks about a lot of interesting things on the podcast, so I think some of you would enjoy it. So I'll link Brian's podcast down below, but he just did one on the Mandela Effect today and glitches in the Matrix. He had some really interesting stories about glitches in the Matrix. So it's about 45 minutes long, I think. So I'll link that down below. You might enjoy that podcast. So he was saying that, he thought it was confabulation, and because he just kind of looked at it and it was presented to him as something he should talk about on his podcast back then. Brian Haggerty Speaks. So, I come along and I'm like, dude, you're just so far off base. We end up on Taryn Lupo's channel, who was doing a lot of live panels back then. I was on a panel with, that's where I met Cynthia. Sue Larson, she was also on there. So I was on there with Brian, and we were talking about Laurel and Hardy, and he's in Sons of the Desert, some fraternity, fraternity-like organization where, they watch the old Laurel and Hardy shows, and I said, here's another fine mess, and he was talking about another fine mess, and I said, well, that's never what it's been. He's like, well, yes, of course it's what it's been. I'm in the Sons of the Desert. This is what we do. We know their catchphrase, right? I said, well, Brian, it's not. It's another nice mess. I mean, they even have another fine mess movie named Another Fine Mess. So I hope I'm not getting that backwards. I haven't thought about this change in quite a while. But yeah, it's another fine mess. Here's another fine mess you've gotten me into. The whole thing's changed. It's another nice mess you've gotten us into, or so, I don't know. The whole thing is different now. So anyway, so he was experiencing that, and he experienced Sally Fields. You know, you like me, you really like me. He remembers that, and it's different. So after looking into it a little more, he realized, well, there's something strange going on here, and that happens with a lot of people as they try to point out that this is just misremembering. You know, on the surface, I understand when people have that feeling. You know, the Mandela Effect, it's just misremembering. You know, eyewitness testimony is not something you can depend on because people see different things, they fill in the blanks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get all that, but when you look at the Mandela Effect and a number of people that all have the same memory, these people don't know one another. The details are the same. There's something going on. It's so obvious. That's what never gets pointed out by all these psychological explanations. It's just totally ridiculous. Okay, so let me see if I can read any of these comments here. Crunchy Bee, welcome. Thank you, Margot. Okay, so I also wanted to mention, in connection with what I was talking about, that connection to the higher self, I guess. You know, I was talking to Not Chiquita, who's in the community on the Rip and Rabbit Hole. He's backstage a lot. He was born in South Korea, grew up in Ripon, Wisconsin, and now is in India. And really interesting guy. We've had a lot of good, very well read as far as talking about philosophical type ideas, talking about reality, and has really interesting perspective on things. I really have had some really good conversations with him, and I enjoy talking to him. Well, he's going to be on AJ's Rip and Rabbit Hole show tomorrow, so I would recommend checking that out. I think a lot of you would really enjoy that. So I'll put a link down to the Rip and Rabbit Hole channel. I think you might enjoy that at 7 West Coast time. And that just about covers everything I wanted to talk about. Wonder if anyone else has anything they want to discuss. There was one more thing I wanted to touch on. I touched on the show tomorrow night. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I just thought I'd go live here. I haven't gone live in quite a while. Thanks, Lisa. Hope everything is going well with you. Unless there's anything anyone wanted to bring up. I haven't seen a whole lot of Mandela effects that really affected me in a huge way. I had the LinkedIn and the Pinterest were two really big ones. Constantly things being pointed out. A lot of people are thinking they're new, and we talked about them years ago. So down below you'll find links to the International Mandela Effect Conference, the Rip and Rabbit Hole YouTube channel, Brian Haggerty's YouTube channel where he has his podcast. I think a lot of you would really enjoy that. You should check that out. I've been busy working on some different projects. Like I said, I've been working on the presentation. Just enjoying this time. It's a crazy time we find ourselves in, especially those of us who were working and then found ourselves not working. I haven't talked a whole lot about the plandemic. I don't know. There's so much information on that, and I don't want to try and act like I have the answers on it, so I don't even really talk about it. It's, yeah, I don't even really want to get into it. But I'm just trying to stay positive during this whole ordeal. If there's one thing the Mandela Effect has taught me, it's that our thoughts and beliefs are creating our reality. So I'm definitely trying to stay positive. Yeah, Margot says not giving the pandemic much energy. It's hard not to look at it. When it kicked off, it's like, whoa, what's going to happen? This is crazy. We never had a world pandemic. But now I'm not really looking at it so much. Things are slowly reopening. I don't know. I just leave that there. Bill Knight says, who is creating this reality? I often wonder that myself. I believe we each individually are creating it. Because there is nothing out there. All this you see behind me, it's not really there. You're seeing it in there, and I'm seeing it in here through everything's in here. The whole brain in the vat thing. How do you know you're not a brain in the vat? I don't know. It's interesting. But the whole holographic universe stuff, I've gotten more on board with that. And we're all made of atoms, which are 99.999999% empty space. So, there really is, there's just opposing forces of electrons. I'm not even really sitting on this chair. I'm not sitting on the chair. There's a fine vibration there where the electrons are repelling one another, so I'm not even touching the chair. But those things are interesting to think about. Yeah, I saw that. Blue Pac-Man 13. We moved to the Orion Cygnus arm. Has anyone else looked at that? We were originally on the Sagittarius arm, where a lot of people remember that we were being told we were in the Milky Way. And then it was the Orion Spur. Now we're being told it's the Orion Cygnus arm. I went and looked it up, and it said previously Orion Spur. I never heard any Cygnus arm, so I just found this out, just like 15 minutes ago. So I haven't had time to look into it. Hey Tom, how's it going? Has anyone else looked into this? Stavely, have you heard anything about that? The Orion Cygnus arm is now where we are. I never really went along with the people that said, oh, I'm from the Sagittarius arm and now I'm on the Orion Spur. I personally never saw atoms exist. Well, maybe they don't, Michael. I don't know. What are we made of? Energy? What do you call them? The building blocks of life. Do you have a different name for them, Michael? So I was saying that I never really went along with the whole Sagittarius arm, Orion Spur thing. We shifted from here to here. And over here, it was Looney T, OONS, and it was Jiffy, and it was all the stuff, right? And it was Ford with the straight line. And we shifted over here to where all these things are different. It's Looney, TUNES. Being told everything was always this way. Ford always had a pigtail in the F. No, this is so splintered. We're all seeing and hearing different things at different times. We're learning that they've changed at different times. It's not easy to just say, boom, we took a population of you and slammed you over here to the Orion Spur. That never made sense to me. The stars still look similar. The Big Dipper and Orion seem to be where I remember them in summer, when summer's kicking off. We're almost in summertime, so I never really went along with that. I understand a lot of people remember we had got moved to the Orion Spur. That's never where they remember us being. We were on the Sagittarius arm. Brian says, our location in the galaxy is still a Mandela Effect. I agree, because the info has changed, but the info isn't reality, just propaganda. Yeah, I know a lot of people, they have that belief. I'm not sure. But what we're being told it looks like has changed 3 times now. You know, it was this and it was that. Now it's this. Previously that. I mean, it says it's now the Cygnus arm, Orion Cygnus arm, and previously Orion spur. I mean, I don't know. I got to look into it. I haven't had a chance to look into it. It seems really strange. Well, I think that's about it, everyone. I don't want to just keep rambling. But had to go live. It's been too long. Man, I titled this, the year's almost half over. I can't believe how everything's speeding up. I need to do more work looking into Dr. Kalaman's frequencies and his ninth wave and stuff, because he talks about time speeding up. It's really speeding up. It's like I can't even. How's this year half over? I mean, it kicked off, and then we had the pandemic thing, and boom, we're going to be in June here pretty quick. Totally mind-blowing. The speed at which things are going is just totally blowing my mind. I can't even keep up with the speed. I'm from Sagittarius arm. It's tripping to wake up and find out we jumped or shifted, Diane says. I agree, but it isn't just. There's people constantly waking up, and I don't believe they're constantly moving to hear, and they're going to see all the things we see now. This is so splintered. It's not just a this or that, or we shifted from this parallel universe to this parallel universe. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. AJ was from the Rip and Rabbit Hole was telling me that in Antarctica they found evidence of a parallel universe that's running backwards. I haven't looked into that either, but I thought that was interesting. The days will be shorter, it says. Oh yeah, they certainly are. I mean, I don't like to mislead people and have, when I talk about the ancient prophecies of the Inca and the Maya and all that, this is biblical as well. And you could see that from my awakening videos I was making before the Mandela Effect, the Great Awakening. I was talking about the shift of the ages from Pisces to Aquarius, the age of believing to the age of knowing. It's in the Bible. We're in the apocalypse now. This is the unveiling. I hope a lot of things get unveiled. A lot of the controllers are exposed for what they've been doing, and we start creating the world we want. There's all this talk about the new Earth, the 3D, shift to 5D. There's so much going on right now. It's an incredible time to be alive on the planet. Just reading some comments here, everybody. Okay, well, I guess that's about it. I'll keep this one under 25 minutes. Thanks for joining in live, everyone. I will hopefully be having some interesting voting. I was thinking about working on the Hear What You Want phenomenon. I started a little voting series on that. I really like that. Last night I was sitting with the kids. I really like that Hear What You Want phenomenon. That's just mind-blowing. I was sitting with the kids and I was playing Eye of the Tiger. And I was asking them, all right, what do you hear? And my daughter says, I hear Queen of the Fight. She's 10. And my 17-year-old son says, well, I hear Thrill. And I said, well, you're both wrong. And I played it again, and of course it's the cream of the fight. But you can hear cream of the fight. I can hear cream of the fight or thrill of the fight. I can hear either one, whichever one I think of just before it's said, whatever one I want to hear. I can hear it clear as day. And that's a really good Hear What You Want I could totally hear either one. So I was thinking of doing some more voting videos on that when I have time. Suso, how's it going, man? Welcome. Well, unfortunately, I'm just about to get off here. Go take care of some business I've been putting off. Paint It Black is the one my wife and I still disagree on. So is that a hear what you want? Ceiling fan man. I mean, I know the Mandela Effect with it, but are you saying you can hear I want it painted black? What is it? I want it painted black, or I want to paint it black? Are you saying you can hear either one? Maybe I'll do a voting video on that. I'll see if people can flip it. Is this a hear what you want? Is that what you're saying? Yes. Hear it one way and she hears it. All right. Well, maybe that could be my next hear what you want. I definitely want to go back and cover the Ben 10 toy. You know, oh, what is that? The little toy that says, oh man, why is this escaping me? Green needle. I mean, you can hear 4 different things on it. I can only think, so it's got the green needle, brainstorm, green needle. Like those sound anything alike, but you can hear either one. Yeah, I definitely got to do a voting video on that. And the Rihanna song, which is crazy. I'm a big effing slut, which sounds nothing like Paper Chaser, but you can totally hear either one. I think I did a voting video on Grover's F-bomb. We have this crazy stuff where you can just hear whatever you want to hear. I mean, that was never part of, it's not misheard lyrics. I keep having people comment and go, oh, misheard lyrics, that's, you know, it's been going on forever. Well, this isn't misheard lyrics, because misheard lyrics, you don't just hear one way and then hear something totally different. If you want to hear something totally different, the total different words, and it's not the same thing. It's just totally different. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a... What are you hearing there? Curious. Brian wants me to keep going. Well, I don't know. I don't go live that much. I mean, I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover. You know, I commend you, Stavely, for going live and having lots to say and lots to talk about. I mean, it's great. You have hundreds of people in your live. They're ready for you. They know you're going to be live. You have lots of people, so I commend you for being able to hold 200-300 people on a live chat. Not a lot of channels even get to that level. Yeah, so the hear what you want phenomenon, definitely going to be doing more with that. I'm just going to have to knock those out. I don't know. It's, you know, I got to be honest with everyone. I've been a little frustrated because I passed 41,000 subscribers. You know, boo-hoo. Like, a lot of people aren't even at that level. But, man, I've been stuck for like a year. I mean, I guess it's the content. You know, the passion. It's everything in general is kind of slowed down. Early on, I didn't do a lot of editing because I was working a lot and I was trying to nail these videos. The only way I could do them were one takes, just like 10-minute one takes. That's what mostly all of my videos are, one takes. And they go straight up. I don't edit anything because I couldn't. It's not that I can't. It's just that it takes so long. Those of you who have edited, you know, for 5-6 hours to put together a good video. But here lately, every time I put out a video, I lose 10 people. Lose 10 subs. It's almost automatic. If I want to lose 10 subs, just put up a video. So I don't know. It's kind of frustrating. Hi, Cynthia. How's it going? We were talking about the Art Bell shows back in 98, 99. Art Bell apparently may have mentioned Jif peanut butter as well. Oh, that's cool. Back in 98, 99. Mentioned it live on air. As well as used the term Mandela Effect. Yeah, I hear that Fiona came up with that Mandela Effect in 2010. But do you remember hearing that beforehand, Cynthia? You remember hearing it before 2010? I can't believe I didn't hear about the Mandela Effect until March 2016. Because I've been living on YouTube since 2009. Now, I had a channel with 10,000 subs in 2015. And I look at a lot of different stuff. You know, different conspiracy type stuff. And I spent time researching, you know, when Flat Earth first became real popular. I was looking at a lot of those videos. You know, I look at everything, so I was surprised that it wasn't until March 2016 I even heard about the Mandela Effect. Yes, Art Bell talked about Nelson Mandela in April 2001. Yeah, but do you remember when you first heard the term Mandela Effect? Was it 2010 that, you know, Fiona's credited with coining the term. So, are you saying you heard Art use it before that, before 2010? It's funny. There's this one guy, and I saw you commented, Cynthia, on his video, but he's done 2 videos, and he says, well, the Mandela Effect is, you know, popularized by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, and then he throws up Cynthia Sue Larson. He throws up your picture. It's so funny. He's done it twice now. I laughed both times I saw that. Yeah, everyone first heard about it through Berenstain. Yeah, I didn't hear people talking about that. Like, kind of strange, but you know what I see when I go to Google Trends. September 2015 is that's where you had a large group of people start talking about the Mandela Effect, and it happens to be right on the final blood moon of the 4 blood moon tetrad I did a video on. That's got almost 1 million views on my other channel. All 4 blood moons fell on Jewish holy days. It's only happened like 6 times since the time of Christ, 2,000 years ago. Now they have tetrads where there's 4 blood moons. I forget how many times that's happened. But the biblical tetrad, it's not going to happen again for 600 years or something. I don't know. But it was interesting that on the final, see, because I think there's some type of connection with the moon and with what's happening as well. Maybe some of you are aware of that. I believe the moon is connected somehow with how we experience reality and what's happening here. Well, you know, probably a good reason why it's right where it's at, right? New Moon Friday. And then there's all these names, right? Where'd all these names come from? There's all these new names for the moon. I never heard of them my whole life. The one that really blows me away is the Cheshire Cat moon. What, how was that ever a thing? There was never a Cheshire Cat moon. My entire life, the crescent moons went this way. Now, in the last year or so, or 2, I'm all of a sudden seeing it go this way. You know, the crescent moon is like, it's like this. Make it a Cheshire Cat smile. The crescent didn't go like this. Am I the only one here? Wasn't it always like to the side? And all of a sudden we're seeing it like this now? That's new. There was no Cheshire Cat moon. Is anyone else with me here? Cheshire Cat moon is totally new. Where'd that come from? Oh my! Sometimes I got to tell you, it's just got a headache looking at the moon. I'm like, did the moon like change? How did it change? Same with the sun. Let me see the sun real quick. Yeah, just as suspected. I gotta ask everyone: is the sun changing again? Remember we talked about how we remember that orangish yellowish sun, and all of a sudden it's bright, brilliant white. This happened maybe 4 years ago, kind of around the time the Mandela Effect started, right? I just looked at the sun; it's kind of orangish. It's changing. I know I'm hearing in the news there's a minimum and all this, the activity is at a minimum stuff for the sun. Is anyone else noticing the sun? It kind of lost that brilliant white. Q question stuff says I grew up with a yellow sun. Yes, was half moon, like this. But is there really a sun simulator? Yeah, I've seen that information too. I don't know. See, I'm not afraid to say I don't know. Just, is the world flat? I don't know. I haven't been out here and looking at the earth and see what it looks like. I've been shown images and stuff. Apparently those are all composites. That's what I'm being told. They're composites. They have to be from NASA. But I don't know. I don't know. That's the easy way to go because I don't know. Anything's possible. Pretty much with the Mandela Effect, I've learned that anything is possible in this world. We're constantly shifting realities, and it's like, I was telling you about Brian Haggerty. I'm going to link his show down below. He's talking about glitches in the Matrix. He's talking about somewhere he went with a group of friends every month, and then all of a sudden they ended up some strange place, and all of them were like, how did we get here? And there's stories like that, people talking about that, where that happens. They're all of a sudden they're somewhere else where they're not supposed to be. So there's people that have those glitches where they're on a road in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden there's a bar appears. Where did this come from? This was never here. I'm really curious. I gotta go back here. I'm really curious if anyone has noticed the sun changing again. Just look out. If it's daytime wherever you are, just look. It's not that brilliant white that I've been seeing. And right now where I'm at, it's, I don't know. I don't even know what time it is here. It's like 2 or 3 o'clock. It should be that brilliant white, but it doesn't. It's changed again somehow. I don't know. It looks a little different to me. Less air pollution. Yeah, Bill, maybe. There's a lot less airplanes in the sky because of the pandemic. It's not a blinding white. Exactly. Now that you mention it. Oh, wait, he's talking to Noble. I think I was able to see spots when I was younger. My sunset today was purple. Oh, cool. Yeah, they have really cool sunsets here in the Valley of the Sun where I'm at now. The sky is fake. Is it everything? Nothing exists, right? It's all up in here. David, where you at? It's pitch black. You must not be in the U.S. Maybe you're over across the pond there. My doctor still checks my heart on the left. Well, Blaze, I guess he didn't get the memo, right? Did you just go to the doctor? The city that my high school was named after did not exist when I went to school there. Okay. Awake and activate. That's pretty crazy. The question is, what is real? Yes. Any answer to that would be helpful. Seems to be changing. Sun simulator, patented by Bosch and Long, mid-20th century. Would have liked to have seen that under construction. I'm in Germany. Oh, okay. Well, when the sun comes out, Check it out. If you remember it being brilliant white, as opposed to the yellow orangish sun most of us remember as children, or even as young adults, I don't know. I'm not seeing that brilliant white. I'm pretty familiar with the sun. I spent a year and a half sun gazing. Just a lot of people are saying, "Man, you're crazy. What are you doing sun gazing? You're not supposed to look at the sun. You're gonna go blind." Well, it's an ancient practice used by a lot of ancient cultures, and there's a lot of people in India. They don't even eat; they just drink, and they can skip the photosynthesis going on in the plants. They don't even eat; they just take it straight from the sun. It's something you build up to, though. And you don't ever do it in the middle of the day. Some people, I mean, it's at the last hour of the day and the first hour of the day when the UV rays are practically zero. You've never been at the beach looking at a sunset, and the sun's right there, it's setting, and you're looking at it. It doesn't hurt your eyes really. Well, this is just before that, like a half hour before you get to that point, you can look directly at the sun. And so it was before the Mandela Effect. I built up to like 10 minutes. I mean, there's people who sun gaze for 1 hour, from an hour before sunset until it ends. And I don't know, you would have to try, but it's something you have to build up to. I mean, you don't just want to go out there like at noontime or like right now. I would just go. I mean, but it's interesting if you never dabbled with it. Like I said, I started at 10 seconds, and then the next time maybe 15 seconds, and then 20, 25, build up to like 10 minutes. But it's interesting. If you've never looked into sun gazing, you never heard about it. But my vision seems better now than before I did the sun gazing. Now I haven't done it in like 4 or 5 years now. Spring and fall seem to be disappearing, says Dead GPK. Yeah, well, it was 100. Let's see. I'm really enjoying this here today. It's like 85 here near Phoenix, on the west side of Phoenix. It's going to be 110 next week. So I come from the Central Valley of California. It gets hot. It's 105, 110. Is everyone still here? Oh, we lost a lot of people. I don't know what happened. It says your stream was interrupted. Well, heck. I guess I'll go for a little bit longer since a bunch of you are still here. I didn't even know what was going on. I'm like, how am I going to get back in there, darn it? Well, let me fix this here. So anyway, I was talking about how it's going to be 110 next week, and I was referencing the comment. But here, we didn't even really have a spring. We went from winter, and then all of a sudden, man, in April 26th, I think it was 109. I was like, whoa, I never experienced that before. I mean, in the Central Valley in California, like I was saying, it gets 105, 110. I grew up in the Bay Area, Northern California, and 90 degrees is like hot. But no one has air conditioning because you don't really need air conditioning. So definitely have to have air conditioning. And I have it here, and I have 2 units because I have 2 stories. And they're constantly running. And the bill just shoots from like 100 a month. It shoots to like 300. Oh well. I mean, if you know that that's going to happen, it's not a surprise. So you just have to plan for that. But yeah, you got to have air. Here, living on the surface of the sun. I haven't been here a full year yet, so I was only here like 3 weeks, maybe last July. My wife moved here before me. I was working in California for another 5 months after she moved here. So yeah, it was 116. The water pump went out on the car on the freeway. Man, it was hot, and then we had no air, and we were stuck. That was crazy. It was hecka hot that day too, and the water pump went out. But anyway, got all that dealt with. So let's see. I still haven't seen anyone say, please let me know if you've noticed that the sun is different for you. I'm really interested in finding out. If any of you remember, you remember the yellow orangish sun as a younger person, and in the last few years it's like a brilliant white, and now you're seeing it's kind of going back towards what you remember, more orangish. Right now, it's not that brilliant white. It's got some orangish in it, and it's not as, I don't know. It's not as strong as it was. Sun is white now. Okay. Well, did you check it out right now? Maybe it's like a Mandela effect where you don't notice until someone points it out to you, because someone mentioned it and I looked and like, whoa, it's not bright white anymore. So, yes, the sun is not as white, but not as yellow as it. I agree, Suso, totally. It's not that same, but something has happened. We went from here, we went over here, now we're kind of back here. I don't know. Something's happened for me, my perception of it. Um, yes, we got different people saying it's whitish now. Yes, it's a little yellowish, orangish now. Thank you, Heather. You noticed that as well. Interesting, right? I mean, that's crazy. Yes, it's calming down in brightness. So is the moon. Yeah, definitely some things going on that a lot of people, it's not even in their wheelhouse. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing video games or they're just doing other things, but they're not looking at the skies and they're not thinking about reality and stuff. They're just doing their normal thing. But for some of us who's awake and aware of different things going on, there's a lot of changes happening. Solar minimum. Yes, I heard about that. Whitish yellow. Yeah, it's like, to me right now, I just went and looked. It's like a whitish orange. Not that sun I remember when I was younger, but it's like a whitish light orange. I don't know. It's just different. It's changed. Yeah, try to mention the sun. It's not the same, and see the looks you get. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I was working with a guy and I said, "Hey, does the sun look different from when you were younger?" And he's like, "I don't know. I don't ever look at the sun." I was like, "All right, let's move on to something else then." Not everyone is really aware of their surroundings. They're just kind of going for it, right? I mean, I don't know. Crazy. Well, I went a lot longer than I thought. Maybe we'll make this 1 hour. I don't know. Covered some interesting points today. I miss all the interaction I had with all of you in the past few years. I believe the phenomenon is still happening, the Mandela Effect, but there's so much else happening. The Mandela Effect is just one part of this whole awakening that a lot of us are experiencing. It truly is an incredible time. Emerald Dreamer, welcome. I'm just about to shut this down here in a minute. There's been a few YouTube channels that are tracking what they're hiding in our skies. The Final Days is one. I don't do organized religion, but she catches a lot. Interesting, Lisa. Hazel, how's it going? Welcome. Oh, I'm just about done. I had some things I wanted to point out. We got off talking about the sun and reality and the Mandela Effect, kind of the usual. Patrick, how's it going? Okay, so I think I'm really going to shut it down this time, everybody. So go create the reality that you want. I will talk to everybody soon. Thanks for joining me today live. We'll do it again. Hopefully not too long from now. Thanks, Blaze. Talk to you soon.